You tried therapy. It didn't work. You read self-help books. You failed. You changed jobs. You remained with the empty anguish inside. You ended relationships. You remained in pieces. You meditated. You prayed. You begged. And nothing changed. Nothing changed. Nothing changed. So you stopped trying. Because hope hurts more than giving up. Because trying again feels like volunteering for yet another disappointment. Marta tried for 7 years. 7 years of, this time it will be different, of climbing out of the hole only to fall even deeper, until she stopped looking for a miracle and found something smaller, something real, something that actually worked. This isn't toxic positivity. This is the difference between hope that kills you and hope that saves you. Are you trying to believe in the wrong kind of hope? Let's find out. If you've tried everything and nothing has worked, sign up now. Here we talk about mental health without romanticizing it and without lying to you. What Marta discovered might be exactly what you need to hear today. Marta was 34 when she realized she had spent the last decade trying to fix herself. It started at 24, severe depression after a devastating breakup. She went to therapy. The therapist was kind. You'll get over it. Time heals. Marta believed. She waited. 6 months later, same pain, same emptiness. The therapist suggested medication. Marta took it. She waited for the pill to work its magic. 3 months, 6 months, a year. The pill took away the peak of the pain, but it didn't bring life back. Marta functioned. She went to work, she paid bills, but she wasn't living. She was a functional zombie. Everyone said, "At least you're better," but she wasn't. She was just less bad, and that wasn't enough. Perhaps you are exactly at that point right now, functioning but not living. Marta tried everything that promised a cure. Self-help books, piles of books, The Power of Now, Women Who Run with the Wolves. She read hungrily, underlined, annotated, tried to apply. Nothing changed, because the books were for those who needed a push, not for those who were at rock bottom without a rope. Marta also tried drastic changes. She quit her job. Maybe it's the job. She got another. Worse, she moved to a different city. Maybe it's the environment. She became more alone. She entered into relationships. Maybe I need love. She encountered abuse. She left. She tried again. Same story. Toxic hope pattern, seeking external solutions to internal problems. And each failed attempt was further proof that she was flawed. She began to believe that she was the type of person that not even therapy could help, irreparable, a lost cause. At 30, Marta found spirituality, meditation, yoga, retreats. She dove in headfirst. Maybe I need to connect with something bigger. She meditated for 2 hours a day. She followed masters. She read Buddhism, Hinduism, shamanism. She wanted to believe that the universe had a plan, that her pain had a purpose. Years passed. Nothing made sense. She only became more frustrated. Now, in addition to depression, she felt guilty. If I'm not getting better, it's because I'm not meditating properly. I'm not vibrating at a high enough frequency. I'm not aligned. Mystical hope as a weapon. Spirituality had become just another way to blame herself. Marta was exhausted from trying, from failing, from waiting. 7 years, thousands of reals, rivers of tears. Same place. Maybe worse, because now she carried the weight of all the failed attempts. One day, Marta was on the bathroom floor. Another crisis. She looked in the mirror. She saw a stranger. Too thin, deep dark circles under her eyes, empty eyes. She whispered, "I can't take it anymore." Not as a cry for help, as a statement of fact. She literally couldn't take it anymore. Another therapy session, another book, another retreat, another promise of healing. She was tired of hope, because hope had become synonymous with future disappointment. Emotional burnout total. When you stop fighting, not because you're strong, but because you have no strength left. Marta decided something radical. She was going to stop trying to fix herself, stop seeking healing, stop believing that one day she would be happy. She was just going to exist, survive. And in that moment of giving up, something changed. Not her, the pressure of needing to be okay, of needing to be happy, of needing to have hope. It disappeared. For the first time in 7 years, Marta breathed. 2 weeks after giving up, Marta did something new. Nothing. Literally. She didn't try to improve. She didn't read books. She didn't meditate. She didn't go to therapy. She just lived, one day at a time. And something strange happened. Small things began to emerge. Not healing, not transformation, just small things. One morning, the coffee tasted good. Not transcendent happiness, just good. Another day, she laughed at a meme. Genuine laughter. 3 seconds. But real. She hadn't laughed like that in months. These things didn't mean healing, but they meant there was still room for small moments. For the first time, Marta didn't dismiss them as insufficient. She just noticed them. You don't need a big turnaround. You need a small movement. Micro hope, not expecting happiness, hoping for an okay moment within a horrible day. Marta began the experiment. No pressure, no expectations. She noted on her phone one moment a day that wasn't completely terrible. Hot coffee, sun through the window, kitten on Instagram. Ridiculously small things. Things that any toxic positivity coach would call thinking small. But for Marta, they were enormous. She had spent years waiting to feel joy, peace, purpose, and she never felt it because those things are too big when you're broken. But hot coffee? That she could feel. Realistic hope. Don't expect mountains. Expect grains of sand. Gather slowly. No rush, no deadlines, no I need to be cured by 35. Just gather. See what happens. Perhaps you are exactly where Marta was, tired of promises, exhausted from trying. A month later, Marta had 30 notes, 30 moments that weren't complete hell. She read the list. She cried. Not from sadness, from relief. For the first time, she had proof that not everything was darkness all the time. There were cracks, small ones, but real. She wasn't cured, far from it. She still had days in bed. She still had crises. She was still taking medication. But now she had something different. Not the hope of one day everything will be all right, but the certainty of tomorrow there might be an okay moment. And that was enough. Paradigm shift. From I need to be okay to I can be not completely unwell. It seems like a small change, but for someone who has lived for years in utter despair, not completely unwell is a victory. It's a real micro victory. Marta began applying this to larger areas. Work. She no longer expected to find her calling. She expected to have a day that isn't torture. And some days were. Not all, some. Relationships. She didn't expect the love of her life. She expected conversations that don't leave her exhausted. And sometimes she had them. Mental health. She didn't expect to be cured. She expected to have a week with 3 okay days. And sometimes she did. You don't need a big turnaround. You need a small movement. Hope in homeopathic doses. So small it doesn't hurt when it doesn't happen, but real enough to keep you alive. Marta didn't become a motivational example of overcoming adversity. She didn't write a book. She didn't give a lecture. She didn't become a guru. She just got better, one grain of sand at a time. 6 years later, she looked back. She had built a beach. Small, but hers. Real. A psychologist named Charles Snyder studied hope for decades. He discovered something crucial. Hope is not an emotion. It's a process. It has 2 parts: goals, knowing where you want to go, and paths, having routes to get there. Most people have big goals, to be happy, to be healed, but they don't have realistic paths, so hope floats, abstract, unattainable, and when it doesn't reach its goal, it turns into despair. Marta had goals, but she didn't have paths. Being happy is not a path, it's a destination, and when she doesn't know the path, she stays still, waiting for happiness to fall from the sky. It doesn't fall. It never falls. Hope without a path is fantasy. Fantasy kills more than it saves. A study divided people with depression into two groups. Group 1, therapy focused on where do you want to be in 5 years. Group 2, therapy focused on what can you do today that will be 1% better. 6 months later, Group 1 improved 23%. Group 2 improved 67%. Why? Big goals paralyze, small actions mobilize. When you're at rock bottom, where do you want to be in 5 years is a cruel question. You can't imagine tomorrow, let alone 5 years from now. But what can you do today? That one you can answer. Take a shower, eat fruit, send a text message. Small actions create small hopes, and these small accumulated hopes turned into real movement. They saw persistent depression beginning to subside, not a miracle cure, movement. Another important concept is learned industriousness. When you complete small tasks and see results, your brain learns effort generates reward, and it starts wanting to put in more effort. But it has to be small, because if the task is big and you fail, your brain learns the opposite. Effort generates failure, and it stops trying. Marta had learned this. Years of trying big changes and failing taught her brain there's no point in trying. But when she started with delicious coffee, sun through the window, small things, her brain learned something new. Sometimes it works. And that was enough to get her started. Neural reprogramming through the minimum viable product, not transformation, a movement against emotional burnout.
Researchers took people suffering from severe depression. They asked them to make 2 lists. List 1, what I want to achieve. List 2, what I can do today. List 1 included be happy, have a healthy relationship. List 2 included brush my teeth, open a window, answer emails. Then they were asked to focus only on List 2 for 30 days, without thinking about List 1. Result? 70% reported significant improvement. Why? List 1 generated pressure, guilt, and a sense of failure. List 2 generated action, control, and micro-victories. And micro-victories teach the brain, I can still function. Hope isn't about feeling like things will work out. It's about doing something small today, even without being sure. And Marta discovered this, without reading studies, without therapy, just surviving and accidentally finding what works, what has always worked, but nobody teaches it because it doesn't sell. There are no before and after Instagram photos. It's small, slow, silent, but it's real. It works. It always has. 3 years after she started taking notes, Marta had a bad day. A really bad day. A random trigger. Music in the elevator. She remembered something painful. She broke down. She didn't get out of bed. She cried until she was done. She thought, I haven't improved at all. I'm still broken. That night, she picked up her phone. No power, just scrolling. And she found it. The notes. 3 years of micro moments. More than 1,000 entries. Hot coffee. Good conversation. Series that made me laugh. I paid bills this month. I didn't have a crisis this week. 1,000 proofs that she wasn't stagnant. She was moving. Slowly, but moving. For the first time, Marta didn't feel hope that one day everything will be all right. She felt something better. The certainty of, I've survived before. I'll survive again. Marta realized something crucial. Hope isn't about feeling that the future will be good. It's about knowing you can cope with it even if it's bad. Realistic resilience. Don't believe it will be easy, but believe you can handle hardship because you've already endured it 1,000 times.
and you're alive. And while you're alive, there's a possibility, not of guaranteed happiness, but of okay moments. And okay moments are enough, because life isn't made of perfect days. It's made of terrible days with some moments that make you want to see the next one. Marta had those moments now. Not every day, but enough to keep going, to not give up again, to wake up tomorrow, not with excitement, but with, let's see what you have today. This isn't giving up. This is real survival. Marta started sharing her list with other people, not as a guru, as a survivor. She created a small group, 5 people, who had also tried everything and nothing worked. Together, they started making lists, without pressure, without judgment, just writing things down. One okay moment a day. At first, people couldn't do it. There wasn't one. Marta would reply, "Are you alive? Yes, this is the moment. You survived today." And that became a note. Victory is subjective. For someone suffering from severe depression, surviving the day is a victory. It doesn't need to be more. 2 months later, people had more notes. I took a shower. I ate something. I didn't think about dying today. Tiny victories, but real. Enough. 5 years after it all began, Marta was in a place she never imagined. Not cured, but functional. Not happy all the time, but okay most days. She had a stable job, real friendships, small hobbies, cats, a routine that didn't kill her. And most importantly, she had the right amount of hope. Not the hope of becoming a different person, but the hope that tomorrow there might be delicious coffee, sunshine through the window, a message from a friend, a good episode of a series. And for Marta, that was enough. She didn't need mountains. She needed grains of sand, and she had gathered thousands, built a beach where she could rest, small but hers, real, habitable. One day, someone asked, "When did you get cured?" Marta replied, "I didn't get cured. I learned that cure isn't the goal. Surviving well enough is." And that answer saved the person, because finally someone told the truth. Hope that works isn't about being happy. It's about being okay. And okay is more than enough. Okay is victory. Okay is a miracle. When you've tried everything and nothing worked, okay is everything. Before continuing, if at any point you feel you might harm yourself, seek professional help or contact someone you trust immediately. This video is for support, not a substitute for treatment. Let's name what Marta learned. Toxic hope versus realistic hope. Toxic hope says you will be happy. Realistic hope says you can have an okay moment today. Toxic hope makes you expect transformation. Realistic hope makes you seek movement. Toxic hope promises a destination. Realistic hope offers a path, and a path is made of steps, not leaps.